Hey there, YouTubeistas. For those who are new to my channel, I'm going to do what I do often is go through some slides, just slice of life, place-based education, which is 97214, area code, zip code, I should say. Area codes are a whole nother story. This, however, is another zip code that's near having major fire issues. This is where I would usually be getting my reading. In other words, things to study. So now we've jumped back to Portland. Space-time coordinates are near to Halloween. So I'm going to be going through slides. I just wanted to set that up for you. But I'm not always going to be talking about what's on the slides. You'll see the slides, but sometimes they're just for ambience, whereas I'll be talking about for something else. For example, the last video that I just completed, I retitled it. I decided it would sound better if I mixed these three things: Vietnam, OSS, Buckminster Fuller. That's like, and a cool car picture from the video. So I think that was a good choice. And then I've got the news here that there's a new way of promoting wine or something that's kind of Harry Potter. This will take me to my Flickr photo stream. So I'm actually, I should just rejoin my photo stream from before. So I'll pick up that story when I get to it. What I really want to say, though, is I'm going to go to philosophy for a second. There's a lot of focus on how does language tell the truth? You know, how do we give true states of affairs? I mean, pictures are a good way to do it. These pictures are each worth more than 1,000 words as I go through them. But let's say that language has a different purpose, actually. It's a set of mnemonics which make more like a dictionary in the Python sense, a hash table where you want to have some keywords that quickly get you to what knowledge you need to solve a problem now. And it is often a matter of memory, like a pharmacist, right? You know that in this shelf of pills here, if you can just remember the right dose of what, you will be able to cure problem X. And that's just a metaphor. It's like, don't say, oh, but it's never that simple in medicine. Yes, I know it's not that simple. So here I'm rejoining that other thread, is rejoining us. You hold up your smartphone to a bottle of wine, for example, and you catch the label just right, and it starts a process. It does a recognition and turns into an animation where it superimposes on the label very realistically, but the face starts talking. So it's very Harry Potter, as I said, or kind of Alice in Wonderland or something, but you've got this thing talking to you on a bottle of wine through your phone. It's like the next step above Pokemon, or is it the same? So finally, these shirts showed up at El Mercado, Portland Mercado. They're hard to find. This is Chris's masterpiece. He'd been promising these for a long time, so I grabbed one. They're not gonna. I'm wearing it right now. In fact, I don't think I should wash it in a customary way, just because we're so close to Halloween. Maybe I shouldn't wear it otherwise. Speaking of Halloween, this is from the crowbar, as I call it. That's spelled with a K, and it was a colorful time because Halloween basically gives you permission to express yourself in whatever costumes, right? Costumes are fine. Now, the bar there is dinosaur themed, kind of toy dinosaurs, which is a good theme. This is the extent of my Halloween contribution to the candy frenzy. I'm trying to not just pander to the superficial sugar coated side of this holiday. At all times, I have more going on, but neither am I trying to be a curmudgeon or a Scrooge. And when the kids show up, I want to have some fairly good quality candies. And so I like these. I share them. We set it up. We do Halloween like everybody else. I'm just not really like everybody else, right? A lot of people go to parties. A lot of people don't do anything. Some people think Halloween is just a bad idea and wish it would go away. It's kind of like dogs feel about 4th of July, fireworks and everything. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. So that's my porch. And instead of a pumpkin, I didn't even bother to get a pumpkin and carve one. because I guess I'm lazy, and there I have Zoltar. Zoltar has been figured prominently when the Lattice Gallery opened. Zoltar went down there and was kind of part of a diorama. Now he's up here on my porch. Similar in a way. It's, chairs around the campfire. It's not like there's anybody there, but it looks like it, right? It's kind of a Day of the Dead look. And there's the little stuffed kitties up there. And you see that cord going over to the pyramid. What I've got lit up on the front lawn is this pyramid, which is, of course, a tetrahedron, and, of course, that C60 with off the shelf white Christmas lights. Don't have to call them Christmas lights. That refers more to their size than to their time of year, because these are acceptable as a sort of a porch light addendum. It's kind of like a lawn decoration year round. There's no time of year that I can't have that pyramid out. There's no neighborhood association telling me to get rid of it. Zoltar, on the other hand, I don't even want him to be out much because somebody will walk away with him. There's Mom. She's kind of disheveled in this picture, but she's, in position for a little bit of Halloween fun. It's not too cold a night for her. She can get by with the sweater. And there's that candy I was showing you. So I think in Synergetics, for example, when we talk about gravity, we kind of have a different spin on the word. It's sort of where most people would say logic. Like, in what way does the world make sense? Because it can make nonsense. It has to obey all the laws of physics right away, kind of. Like, there's no time to, like, not be in compliance in a way. It's like instantaneity is something like what Fuller has a lot of gravity and instantaneity sort of mixed together. But there are other namespaces that use gravity, especially like gravitational waves from black holes and the LIGOs, and detecting gravitational waves as evidence of black holes colliding and so forth. What is that in Synergetics? Does Fuller talk about that? Well, yes and no. I mean, again, we're in a kind of a different namespace, I would say. His use of the term gravity, and I don't think he has to say schmavity, just isn't quite identical to what's in Newton, except when we're close to Newton. Like, he'll get into talking about Newton, and then his gravity and Newton's gravity are the same. But then other times you're reading Synergetics and it's just not the same namespace. And that's not a crime. It's not a tragedy. It's not anything like that. It's just what we have in semantic space in philosophy are these like planets, like on the Little Prince. And Synergetics planet has its own integrity of things connecting around in all circumferential directions, as we say. It's like a planet. Strike off in any direction. Pretty soon you find you're crossing your own path, your own footsteps. And they call that a bad thing when you're lost in the forest and you're trying to get out and you keep crossing your own path. It's like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere and I'm going to run out of food. Very true. That's a trope. That's a pattern. But if you're on a planet, there's really nowhere to go. You can go off the planet maybe, but humans have not been doing that for long, and we're really mostly confined to the planetary surface. And we go around and crisscross all the time. You go to the same supermarket day after day and crisscross the same aisles. So not to be concerned if, Synergetics has its own kind of internal consistency, but, it doesn't have to be redundant with what goes on in, say, general relativity. It doesn't have to be. And so I'm thinking again, mnemonics. You can use Synergetics language kind of as an interesting glue, like a gorilla glue, for holding together knowledge that you already want to keep. You know it's valuable, like whatever you've learned about physics or chemistry or math that you already know and already treasure. Synergetics may be able to help you retain it by kind of thinking of these namespaces as planets that have their own gravity in a sense. They have their own coherence. And so you go from planet to planet, right? Namespace to namespace. All right. Looking forward to, let's see, is this my last picture? I was up on Mount Tabor this morning And I met Glenn up there. He was remembering about the time change. We're both remembering daylight savings time ends today, and there's some indication that daylight savings time itself may be coming to an end. That's in the wind. People talk about that. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved. And anyway, this is my last picture. I did come up these stairs to get here. All right. Talk to you soon.